Sweet Georgia Brown is a jazz standard and pop tune composed in 1925 by Ben Burney and Maceo. Pinkard, with lyrics by Kenneth Casey. Reportedly, Ben Burney came up with the concept for the song's lyrics, although he is not the accredited lyricist, after meeting Drive. George Thaddeus Brown in New York City. Dr. Brown, a longtime member of the State House of Representatives for Georgia, told Burney about Dr. Brown's daughter Georgia Brown and how, subsequent to the baby girl's birth on August 11, 1911, the Georgia General Assembly had issued a declaration that she was to be named Georgia after the state, an anecdote which would be directly referenced by the song's lyric. Georgia claimed her, Georgia named her. Quote, "The tune was first recorded on March 19, 1925, by bandleader Ben Burney, resulting in a 5-week #1 for Ben Burney and his Hotel Roosevelt Orchestra." One of the most popular versions of "Sweet Georgia Brown" was recorded in 1949 by Brother Bones and his Shadows and later adopted as the theme song of the Harlem Globetrotters basketball team in 1952. Renditions of the many early recordings of the tune, the vocal version by Ethel Waters in the 1920s, and instrumental version by Stephen Grappelli and Django Reinhardt in the 1930s, are particularly notable. Ethel Waters also starred in the 1943 film Cabin in the Sky, in which Lena Horne plays a character named Georgia Brown. Shortly after the song debuted in 1925, the California Ramblers recorded their own instrumental version of "Sweet Georgia Brown" as well. Earl Hines and his orchestra recorded a big band version, arranged by bassist Quinn Wilson, on 12 September 1934. Cab Calloway has recorded an abstracted version featuring mostly scat singing. Harry James recorded a version in 1939 on Brunswick 8327. Ella Fitzgerald sang and recorded this song many times. A rendition can be found on her Verve release Whisper Not. The version used by the Globetrotters is a 1949 instrumental by Brother Bones and his Shadows, featuring whistling and bones by Brother Bones. It was adopted as the Globetrotters theme around 1950, and today is inextricably associated with the team. A notable performance of this song was that of Anita O'Day at the 1958 Newport Jazz Festival, captured in Bert Stearns' film Jazz on a Summer's Day. Ray Charles on his 1961 album Dedicated to You, Damita Joe recorded a version in 1961. The song was covered by the Beatles while working as a backup band for singer Tony Sheridan. Two versions exist. The first was recorded on May 24, 1962 in Hamburg, Germany, using the original lyrics. The second, but the first version was released in 1964 during the wave of Beatlemania, with Sheridan having re-recorded the vocals with notably more tame lyrics featuring the added verse. In Liverpool, she even dares to criticize the Beatles' hair, with their whole fan club standing there. Oh Sweet Georgia Brown. Recently, bootleggers have utilized the two recordings to produce an instrumental featuring only the Beatles' instruments and backup vocals, entirely eliminating Sheridan. Roy Young played the piano. Trini Lopez included a sing-along version on his Reprise Records album The Sing-Along World of Trini Lopez. Reprise 6183. Sergio Franchi recorded his version on the RCA Red Seal album Women in My Life, 1963. Nancy Sinatra recorded the song for her 1966 studio album Sugar. Bing Crosby recorded the song on April 23, 1932 with Isham Jones and his orchestra, and it is assessed as reaching the No. 2 spot in the charts of the day. Jerry Lee Lewis recorded a version on his album There Must Be More to Love Than This. The progressive rock band Gentle Giant covered the song on the live album Playing the Fool, released in 1977. Oscar Peterson, Niels Henning Ørsted Pedersen, and Ray Brown performed the song live at the 1977 Montreux Jazz Festival. In the 1983 remake of To Be or Not to Be, Mel Brooks and Anne Bancroft, in character as Frederick and Anna Bronski, perform a version of the song in Polish. On the Captain Beefheart bootleg album Captain Hook, an instrumental version, atypical of Beefheart's style, in the musical Bubbling Brown Sugar, which ran on Broadway from March 2, 1976, and closed on December 31, 1977, where it was sung by Vivian Reed. The Count Basie Band recorded Sweet Georgia Brown on their primetime album in 1977. Roberta Flack included a version in her 1994 Roberta album. Dixie Carter once sang an inebriated version of Sweet Georgia Brown in an episode of Designing Women. Guitarist John Lowery, better known as John Chapter 5, did a modern bluegrass variation cover of Sweet Georgia Brown on his 2004 debut record, Vertigo. Merle Haggard and Johnny Gimbel recorded a country version on Gimbel's album Celebrating with Friends in honor of Gimbel's 80th birthday. Mike Owings and Jacob Daniel Brown, son of original singer for the Southern rock band from Jacksonville, Florida Molly Hatchet, form a Southern rock band in Atlanta, Georgia in 2010 called Sweet Georgia Brown. Nat King Cole and his original trio recorded an instrumental version in the late 1940s one evening after a concert at the Copacabana, and later went Carlos Gastel in order to get it recorded. Pierre Colbois wrote a song called 7 in 7 quarters on the Sweet Georgia Brown chords 1990, and was playing and recording it with his quintet. In animated cartoons, caricatures of Fats Waller and the Mills Brothers sing a scat-style rendition of the song in the cartoon, The Isle of Pingo Pongo, from the Merry Melodies series. The robot bender of TV science fiction cartoon Futurama harbors a desire to join the Harlem Globetrotters, and often whistles Sweet Georgia Brown in the episode Time Keeps on Slippin'. The Simpsons have made references to Sweet Georgia Brown on 3 occasions. Homie the Clown. The music can be heard during the part where Krusty is watching the Globetrotters vs. Washington Generals match. Home Sweet Home Diddly Dum Doodly. Skinner uses Sweet Georgia Brown as an oath when he finds Bart and Lisa disheveled and suspects that it has something to do with Homer and Marge neglecting them at home. The City of New York vs. Homer Simpson. The music can be heard in the couch gag where the family, dressed as Harlem Globetrotters, pass a red, white, and blue basketball to each other, with Maggie dunking the ball in the basket above the couch and hitting Homer in the head with it as they run to the couch. In the Drawn Together episode, Nipple Ring Ring goes to foster care. The character Ling Ling, after being given 21 shots of liquor for his 21st birthday, is given the traditional 21 doses of Sweet Georgia Brown. According to Spanky Ham, Bugs Bunny sings it in the Merry Melodies shorts, To Hair is Human, and Hair Trigger. See also, List of 1920s jazz standards. Notes and references. Audio file of the Brother Bones version at the United States Patent and Trademark Office. MP3 format. Song information from Warner Chappell Music. Sweet Georgia Brown lyrics. Original version. Lyrics of this song at Metro Lyrics.